Hello, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Yeah, welcome back, everybody. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm just so glad to have everybody come back here today. Thank you so much for tuning in to my YouTube channel. My name is Anne Igoche, Anne. That's Anne, Igoche. Right, welcome back to my YouTube channel. And so today I want to still continue with my episodes of Deal with Fibroids. All right, this is basically an inspirational channel, and then we talk about health issues here. All right, so let's get back to what I have to discuss. Let's have a conversation, a very sweet conversation. If you have a sister, can tell her to come join us in this conversation. And there's nobody that don't have a sister, a brother. You still have the female, that F in your life, right? Somehow you have one in your life, so you can invite them to come join this very beautiful conversation. So today, basically, I want to discuss. Let's just have some tips. Let me just say some few things on fibroids. And my number one issue, or the number one language I always say to us when I discuss with us on fibroid is that I let us know that it is not a death sentence. Fibroid is not a death sentence. That you went to the hospital and then you ran a scan and the doctor told you that this is fibroid. Girl, it's not a death sentence. It just basically mean that you just have to do few things to keep yourself healthy. That's it. It just basically means that you just have to do some few things that will keep you healthy. All right, today I just pray that God will be helping me, and I'll be mentioning these things one after the other, and then we'll discuss them. First, I'm going to talk about salt. Salt. SALT, salt, right? So that's basically what I want to talk about first when you are dealing with fibroid. When you are dealing with fibroid, but let me just give us this. I had a client, and then she was dealing with fibroid, mm? and you know, when you are dealing with fibroid, you should cut down on your salt intake. You cut down on your salt intake. Like when they say weigh, bring it down. That's the way you should bring down on your salt intake. Okay, salt intake. Then some people always used to ask this question: if I bring down on my salt intake, what should be my alternative for salt? Well, for me, sometimes I can cook without salt. I just go use my seasoning, chicken seasoning, meat seasoning, whatever seasoning that you have. You know their names now. I don't have to mention their names, so you can just use. That does not mean you should just go load them inside the food. It just basically means that you're trying to have an alternative. You are putting the salt in the food, true, but you are not adding. You are careful. You are not putting your salt like somebody who is not. You are not careless about putting your salt in your food. Yes, let me use that language. You are not careless at all about putting your salt. You know that kind of food that you just cook and then you just mistakenly over pour salt, and then the food becomes salty. In your own case, you don't have to do too much of salt, right? You don't need the too much of salt. You know, salt on its own increases BP, right? You don't have to do too much of salt. Cut down on salt intake. Cut down on salt intake. I already told us, I know some of you that are following me, you know, I spoke about bread. I talked about white rice, bread, white rice, and then today I'm talking about salt. All right, cut down on salt. Salt is not your friend when you are dealing with fibroid. There's no friendship. Like, una no dey do friendship. You and salt no dey do friendship. Permit me to blow this pigeon. You and salt no dey do friendship when it comes to dealing with fibroid, when it comes to healing from fibroids. Okay, then second thing, another secret I want to tell us, put your ears very well. Oh, if I were you, I would take a pen and a paper, just like the way I am doing mine now. Right, the second thing you should do in your food, again, number two thing you should do, I've just mentioned one thing you shouldn't do: salt. You shouldn't do salt. If you are doing salt, babe, we are just going to make the condition so worse. Don't do salt. Don't do salt. Avoid the salt intake. Avoid salt intake. Cut down on your salt. Cut down on your salt. Fibroid is something that is not a death sentence, but then you need wisdom to handle it. All right, so you cut down on your salt. And then the next thing I want to talk about is something you should do, something you should consider adding to your meal. Yes, you know this oh, I wish I could lay my hand on one of it now, is black pepper. Black pepper. Black pepper. Yes, it's called black pepper. That black pepper. We Igbo people call it oziza. Yeah, Igbo people call it oziza. You know that oziza? Just go to the market, go and buy like a cup of it. One whole cup of it. One cup. Have a cup of it and put it in your house. You should not lack it in your house. You shouldn't lack it in your house, because aside putting it inside your meal, like the way you just pound it and use it to make your soup, you can also use it to make tea to drink. Yes, it's so effective. That oziza, that small black seed, and when it's fresh, it's usually is it orange now? Yes, usually orange when it is fresh. So please, people, please, dear family, dear fans of Anne Igoche, if you're dealing with fibroid, salt is a no. If you're dealing with fibroid, another thing you should consider adding to your meal is oziza seed, right? You're going to do more of the oziza. Do more of the oziza. You can use it as don't worry, we'll get there. I'll talk about that, how to use the oziza. It's very, very important we talk about that one very well. All right, then lest I forget, there's something I want to drop very, very fast with us so that we know. Okay, if you're dealing with fibroid, don't always see fibroid from the physical side of fibroids alone. If you're dealing with fibroid, it's on two levels. Like I always tell people, if you're dealing with fibroids, you deal with fibroid from two levels. Number one, you should deal with it from the spiritual angle. And then number two, you should deal with it physically. Don't go overboard with any of the levels. Don't go overboard with anyone. All right? If you're dealing with it, start with it spiritually and then continue with it physically. That's the way to even win battles of life. If you are dealing with anything, you don't just have to say, okay, I'm praying against it, I'm fasting, I'm doing all of that, and so I don't have my own part to play. No, you have your part to play. You are praying, you are doing the part that concern you and God. Then there's a part that concern you too that you have to play. That's on the physical side of it. On the physical side of it, I always say it's about you discipline yourself, your mouth, giving yourself discipline. I mean discipline. And then on the spiritual part is let me go on to the spiritual one. On the physical part of it is that when you have to do with it, give yourself a lot of discipline. You would need discipline on this level, like discipline, real discipline. Okay, then let's talk about the second part of it. The second side of it now is on the spiritual side. On this spiritual side is that I would encourage you to find out history. Yes, find the history of the female in your home, in your house, in your family. Find out history. You could just go to your mommy, go to your mommy, your if you don't have a mom yet. If you don't have a mom, you don't have if you I mean if you lost your mom, why not? You can still have there are still female in your lineage that you can just go there and then try to ask. Try to know, learn something from their youthful age. Learn something for them. Ask them questions. In asking that question, you get to know the history. You get to know the history of your family. That would help you a lot. So that you know whether you are fighting something that is a spiritual thing or you're fighting something that basically you just have to stand on it on the physical side of it. It's very important that you know the history of the female in your family. It's so, so important. In fact, knowing the history of the female in your family will also tell if you are facing delay in marriage. It also, it's a pointer and it also expose a lot of things to you so that you know where you're fighting, the angle at which you should be fighting your battles from. Okay, so that's it on the spiritual side of it. It makes it so, so easy. For instance, I find somebody or I have a friend whose mother, her mother has fibroid, her grandmother dealt with fibroid, and then now it is her turn. So you see these kind of things. These are the things that when you know this history, it's really, really an advantage to win. When you know these histories, it's really an advantage on your own part. So I talk about fighting it from the physical side of it and then fighting it from the spiritual side of it. And I've tried to explain these two sides. One of it, the physical side of it, says that you should discipline yourself. You need discipline. You need to cut down. You need to eat clean. On the spiritual side is where you need to pray. In fact, let me tell you something about fibroids. Fibroid really is not like when you say the medical people will just tell you that okay, when it has to do with childbearing, pregnancy, they'll tell you that a woman has to meet with a man, the egg and the sperm will meet and then it becomes a baby. In the case of fibroid, there are no medical, there are no ground, there's no solid ground per se that doctors have really said this is actually the cause of fibroid. You just get to have some part from here, some part from here, and all of that and all of that. But there's no really, really explanation to which why people suffer or women suffer from fibroids. So, and that makes me conclude on my own part that this is something that, if you look at it, if you've ever seen anybody that has gone through the operation and see the way it is, I don't like that thing. I hate it. I hate it. If you've seen it, I have seen one of my neighbors when I was a student. She underwent an operation, and I think the fibroid that was operated that day was 10 kg. Imagine somebody carrying a 10 kg. Her case was so worse that I was an undergraduate and I knew her as a postgraduate student. As at the time I knew her as a postgraduate student, I've always thought, honestly, that she was pregnant. That's the way I love to look at, because she has this protruded tummy, walks like a pregnant woman and all of that. Single, she was never married. As at the time I'm telling you, in fact, up until now, I don't know, but I know the last I saw her, she was not married. So the 10 kg, she was operated 10 kg. Now people were kept asking her that why did you have to wait for this thing to become this way before you choose to do something about it? She said she was afraid to do something about it. She was afraid. That was her fear, and that's why I always say that fibroid is not a death sentence. It's not a death sentence. That you have died, you've been diagnosed of it. You just need to put in, step out to fight it. Not that you leave it. No. All right. So on the physical side of it, you have a job to do. On the spiritual side, you have a job to do. So, and why I always mention that, I always mention fighting battles on the physical side and on the spiritual side is because so that you don't leave any stone unturned. That's how to just win the enemy. That is the way to win the enemy. You know how the Bible, when the Bible says, when Jesus was talking, he said that the children of the world are wiser than the sons of the kingdom and the children of the kingdom. They just know how to fight something, eh, physically, and you know that they can also do the spiritual part of it too. But when we are fighting our own, we just rely on this physical, spiritual side, and then we don't do anything about the physical side. We just feel that we are working out of faith when we have to apply the physical. The physical tells you that is wisdom that you have gotten from the spiritual side of it. Apply the wisdom physically. Okay, so that is it about it. So you fight it on two grounds. Every time you have to take anything, you are doing anything that has to do with, you are taking maybe a detox water, you are eating some different meals on it, you pray on it, you command it, you speak to it on what the specific thing you want it to do in your body. All right, that is fighting it. You are not giving any space at all. You are just fighting it from every end, and you are so sure and very certain that victory is already yours. Okay, so that's it on that side. So today, let me caption it all for us. You need your oziza seed, that's black seed. Cut down on your sword, and then you will have to work it out spiritually, praying, physically, knowing your history, knowing the history of the women in your bloodline, and then trying to find out what you eat. Be sensitive to your body. Know that thing that you eat, and then there are sometimes you eat some certain food and then you feel unease and all of that. Pay attention to your body. Pay attention to your body, especially after eating something, especially after drinking something. It will tell you so much on what to cut down and what to eat. There are things that you eat that you feel so much unease. There are others that you eat and then you feel so relaxed and you enjoy yourself. So that's the way to work these things out. Okay, so basically that is it. But then I'll be glad. I really want to have you ask me questions. Just go there, be free, ask questions in the comment section. Ask questions and I will sure answer your question. I know most times people just feel like, okay, if I ask question, the person will not be present to answer. I will be present. I've given you my word. I'll be present to answer your questions. I'll be present to answer your questions. I will drop um, an answer to every question you ask in the comment section. Please don't forget to tell somebody, to tell another person to join us in this conversation. We are taking it step by step in dealing with fibroid, in healing from fibroid. So please tell somebody to tell someone as you subscribe here. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. God bless you, and then I will see you again in the next episode. In the next episode of healing from fibroid, I'm just really going to do some real detailed teaching. I've just been touching it like this. I'll do real detailed teaching on that, and that will really, really, really bless you. For those of you who are my friends on Facebook, my name there is Something New Inspirational Channel, and then on TikTok, my name is still Anne, and then Instagram is still Anne Igoche. Every of the social media handles I bear Anne Igoche, except for Facebook, where my name is Something New Inspirational Channel. God bless you. I love you, and I will see you again. I will see you.